Since the early 1940s, football has produced more than just great players. It has created legends. From grainy postcards and black and white memories of Puskás to Lionel Messi lifting the World Cup in 2022. The beautiful game has written stories that have shaped generations. Every era has had its heroes, its icons, and its unforgettable moments. Today, we take a journey through time, exploring the football legends of each generation, from the 1940s all the way to the early 2020s. Before the television screens in the 1940s, football had already found its first true legend. His name was Ferenc Puskás. At a time when the game was raw and unforgiving, Puskás stood far above his era. Yes, there were giants like Matthias Sindelar, the elegant Austrian genius, and Giuseppe Meazza, Italy's talismanic icon. But Puskás was something else entirely. He wasn't just better, he was beyond comparison. Blessed with a devastating left foot and an instinct that seemed years ahead of the game itself, Puskás wasn't merely a goal scorer, he was a revolution. Leading the legendary Hungarian Golden Team, the mighty Magyars, Puskás orchestrated one of football's greatest shocks. In 1953, at Wembley, Hungary dismantled England, a nation that believed itself unbeatable on home soil. Puskás didn't just defeat England, he shattered an illusion and carved his name into history. To many at that time, he was the greatest. The 1950s came with a star, Pelé. Pelé wasn't just outstanding, he was phenomenal. Over the course of 1,363 matches, he scored more than 1,283 goals, a record that seemed almost superhuman even till now. At just 17 years old, Pelé led Brazil to their first ever World Cup triumph in 1958, dazzling the world with skill, speed, and composure beyond his years. He didn't stop there. In 1962, he guided Brazil to back-to-back World Cup glory, cementing his place as the sport's first true global icon. This era was full of legends. Eusébio, Portugal's unstoppable goal machine, and Alfredo Di Stefano, dazzling audiences with Real Madrid. Yet Pelé was different. He didn't just score goals, he set a standard and inspired a nation. In 1966, even Pelé faced setbacks. Injuries and the brilliance of rivals like Eusébio denied him a third consecutive World Cup. But his story wasn't finished. By 1970, he returned, captaining what many consider the greatest team in World Cup history, lifting the trophy once more and leaving an indelible mark on football forever. Pelé was more than a player. He was a phenomenon, a symbol, and for countless fans around the world, the greatest we will ever see. The 1970s brought football legends like Franz Beckenbauer and Zico, but no one defined the era quite like Johan Cruyff. Cruyff wasn't measured by the number of goals he scored. His greatness lay in the quality of his play, the precision of his passes, the way he shielded the ball with his body, and how he seemed to appear in the exact right place at the exact right time. He didn't just play football, he controlled it. Opponents could not contain him. Playing against Cruyff made the game look deceptively simple, yet it was anything but. At Ajax, he was the heartbeat of the team, leading them to domestic and European glory. At Barcelona, he brought the same magic, winning trophies and multiple Ballon d'Ors along the way. Cruyff was more than a player. He was a visionary, a revolutionary who changed the game forever. He scored crucial, breathtaking goals in the moments that mattered most. He was a big match player, a genius whose style would inspire generations to come. Johan Cruyff didn't just dominate his era, he reshaped football itself. The 1980s belonged to one man, and it raised one question that football fans still ask today. How good was Diego Maradona?
And all the players, there was people like Platini on the pitch, lots of great players from around the world, and everyone was totally in awe of him. First thing he did was in the dressing room, he sat there just a pair of shorts. And you know, like you roll your socks up. He just did it, and he juggled them on his left foot, just like that, for about 5 minutes.
Maradona was exceptional, blessed with unreal skill, sharp close control, and an almost supernatural ability to keep going even after being kicked and fouled by defenders. Maradona wasn't just different, he was something the world had never seen before. What sets him apart, not just as the greatest of his era, but for many as the greatest of all time, was his power to win games on his own. Whether it was for Napoli or Argentina, Maradona carried teams that had no right to win and made them champions. He didn't need systems, he was the system. In the 1980s, football didn't just revolve around tactics or formations, it revolved around Maradona. And decades later, for many, Diego Armando Maradona was and remains the greatest player football has ever known. The 1990s were filled with extraordinary talent. Players like Romario, Zinedine Zidane and Roberto Baggio lit up world football. But there was one name that stood above them all, Ronaldo Nazário.
Who is the best player you have played with or against in your career?
Sans hésitation, Ronaldo.
El Fenomeno. Ronaldo wasn't just great, he was unbelievable. A once-in-a-lifetime blend of blistering pace, outrageous skill, power and flair. Defenders didn't just struggle against him, they were helpless. At just 21 years old, Ronaldo became the youngest player ever to win the Ballon d'Or, announcing himself as football's next global superstar. And even among legends, no one matched his ability. Injuries would later rob him of years of his prime, but before and after those setbacks, Ronaldo was widely seen as the best player in the world, and to many, the greatest ever. He appeared at 3 consecutive World Cups. In 1994, he was a teenager, part of the squad, but not yet the star. In 1998, he carried Brazil to the final, and in 2002, he completed one of football's greatest comebacks, scoring 8 goals and leading Brazil to World Cup glory. Ronaldo won 2 World Cups and 2 Ballon d'Ors. Ronaldo Nazário greatness wasn't about his trophies. He earned the name El Fenomeno because football had never seen anything like him before. And perhaps it never will. The new century began with what many consider the most stacked era in football history. Stars were everywhere. Some were reaching their peak, others were just stepping onto the world stage. Thierry Henry, Zidane, Luis Figo, David Beckham, Roberto Carlos, Buffon, Casillas, Nedved, Rooney, Ronaldo, Raúl, Eto'o. The list felt endless, but among all that greatness, one player captured not just the hearts of football fans, but the heart of the world: Ronaldinho. Ronaldinho separated himself from the pack, not just because of his skill, but because of how effortlessly he played the game. Football looked easy at his feet, joyful, free. He didn't just beat defenders, he disgraced them. In an era of Real Madrid's Galacticos, Ronaldinho was the one man who stood in their way. While Madrid assembled superstars, Barcelona found magic, and that magic wore a smile. With outrageous flair, lightning sharpness, and unimaginable creativity, Ronaldinho played football with a freedom the world hadn't seen before. Every touch felt improvised, every move felt impossible. He won every trophy there is, including 1 Ballon d'Or and 2 FIFA World Player of the Year awards. But his true legacy goes beyond trophies. Ronaldinho made people fall in love with football again. He inspired kids who had never watched the game before. He reminded the world that football was about joy. Ronaldinho wasn't just a superstar. He was a feeling, a moment in time, and a spark that ignited an entire generation. Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi. 2 names that have echoed across world football for nearly 2 decades. Between them, they have won 13 Ballon d'Ors and scored well over 1,600 career goals. Together, they created the greatest rivalry football has ever known, pushing each other to heights the sport had never seen before. For almost 20 years, they dominated the biggest stages: Champions League nights, league title races, international tournaments, redefining what greatness looked like in the modern game. But for many, Messi stood apart. He didn't just score goals, he created them. He didn't just decide matches, he controlled them. Goals, assists, playmaking, consistency. Messi mastered every facet of football at the highest level. And in 2022, the story reached its final chapter. In Qatar, Lionel Messi led Argentina to World Cup glory, lifting the one trophy that had eluded him, while also winning the Golden Ball. It was a moment that felt written by fate. In that moment, the debate shifted for good. For many, for most. Lionel Messi became the greatest player of all time. And that brings us to the end of the GOAT timeline. One thing is important to understand. These players are called GOATs for a reason. Greatness transcends generations. Ferenc Puskás could play in today's game. Lionel Messi could have played in the 1940s. True greatness adapts, and that's what separates legends from everyone else. If you enjoyed this journey through football history, like the video, leave a comment and subscribe for more stories like this. See you soon.